It's the final countdown. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are the last two. Ooh, hey, that's me echoing. Hold on. The last two uploads of this SciVive 369 project. I'm on one hand a little sad, but on the other hand, very relieved because I've been spending a lot of time and energy over the last 2 years on this project, and I am glad that I'm going to be able to redirect that energy and focus on the other projects that I'm currently working on. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, what a journey, you guys. Like I decided on the thumbnail to put the photo of the very first image from, or just a screenshot from the very first quote that I did, and then an image from, even though it's not the last quote, it's the last quote I recorded. I decided to do, when I was recording these, there were two that stood out to me recently that I was like, okay, I'm going to end on these two quotes because the last three are all about SciVive in general. And I really liked the message that the last two quotes give. So I specifically decided to do these last two, and y'all will get to see them before I post them because we're gonna do a little watch party. I don't know how long this is gonna be because at the beginning, some of the quotes it was like minutes long of a quote that I would be talking, and then I would do the quote, and so it wasn't until a little bit later that it got more succinct. Nothing I think is more than a couple minutes, and then a lot of them are just a few seconds. So I'm hoping it about an hour and a half is what we're gonna be looking at for this, but whatever. I mean, I don't have much going on today. Gonna hang out with some Hexicans a little bit later and celebrate the new year. And other than that, I just been hanging out with one of my college besties. Shout out Kathy. Had some real fun with her last night, and I didn't anticipate hanging out today, but it's been nice. It's been really chill. I was gonna go to a coffee shop and work, but she was like, oh, just hang out here and do it. So I'm in her backyard in the beautiful hills of Glendale, California. And let's see what's up to the chat real quick before I get started on this watch party. Hello, everyone. We got Johnny B in the house. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Hello, Godfather J6. Thanks for tuning in. Make it Miriam. We got the dynamic duo, the team. My Online Ghost says, hello, SJ. What's good, everyone? What is good, my Online Ghost? DJ Bomber in the house. Burr, 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 burr. DJ Bomber did a great D&B set earlier. If you are into that drum and bass, those drum and bass shenanigans, give his channel a check. If you want to put that link, DJ Bomber, in the chat, go for it. Go right for it. RH Max has made an appearance. And Max, thank you so much for all of your support, especially you over this last year with SciVive. You really helped me kind of take things to another level. You were very encouraging, super helpful when there were definitely times when I was very just burnt out. I got burnt out on this project a couple times because it was a lot. Doing a quote every single day for 369 days was my commitment, and it took almost 6 months. It's like a year and 4 months is what it took. So, I had to take breaks at times. Not all of the different ways we tried doing it hit, right? And it was really cool to see other influencers and other content creators step up to the plate and help me with a project and do things. And then I don't know how many of y'all know this or if you guys heard this, and you'll see as we go through the different ways that I tried to do these quotes. But at the end of the day, I overheard Richard on one of his streams say something about the fact that it was basically like talking about how these dudes were doing his quotes and no one wants to see dudes, and something about like, oh, well, there's one hot chick. So, and Richard, he's called me hot multiple times, which just, whew, let's go on a date, huh? Let's go. I'm going to come hang out. I'm going to be in Europe this year, Richard. Want to go out? Let's go dance. Don't tell Georgia. So anyways, so I pivoted and I decided to just go ahead and finish doing the quotes on my own, because I heard that from Richard. So that's what I did. I finished them all by myself, and I tried doing ASMR. I tried doing some AI stuff. I tried doing even these last few quotes. I tried several different things. I tried just doing stock footage, and then I tried a brand new thing that I'd never tried before, which was using an AI model out of I use Veed. I just started doing CapCut. One of the last 5 is a CapCut done one, and I'll point it out if we get to that point. So CapCut and Veed were the 2 tools that I used. I used Canva for some things, but the most recent ones, if you guys saw with the AI models, those I used Veed to try. One of them hit really well on YouTube. That was the other thing, is for the majority of the time I was posting all of these quotes to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So 4 different platforms. And when you're doing short form content like this and trying to hit the algorithms on all these different platforms, it's difficult because, first of all, the platforms themselves want to see you use the platform. So if you're creating TikTok content on TikTok using their tools, your video is going, your short or whatever is going to get more views using and utilizing their tools than if you would, for example, use Opus clips, which a lot of us do, and then upload it that way. And that, I mean, that it may depend on the content. It depends on a lot of different things, but that's kind of what I've seen. So same thing with Instagram, same thing with YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you're using the YouTube content creator, it's likely going to push you in the algo a little harder if you actually used the YouTube tools to do so. So that got intense. Anyways, so shout out to RH Max. Again, thank you so much for your help this year. You are awesome. What else? We got Collins Crypto. What's up, Collins Crypto? How are you? SMO Spider says aloha. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. Let's see. Max says, it's been a pleasure. One day we'll get the dang thing in print. It will float to the top of his list again, maybe next Christmas. I agree. I know it will. I people forget or don't think too often about the fact that crypto is not Richard's greatest goal. It's not his end goal. It's not what he's most excited about in life or what he wants to do. In fact, I was reviewing SciVive, and near the end of it, in the longevity chapter, there's a list. Richard actually has a list of things to fix, like in order at that time, in order of importance. And like Max and I know, SciVive has kind of been on the back burner since the whole SEC thing started. And you can see through his tweets and through what he's saying there and this new video that is on the forefront of his mind. That is what he's been studying. He's probably been reviewing a lot of cases. He's been probably talking to his lawyer a whole bunch. And it's interesting listening to his recent video when he talks about, not being in the US and how he's fighting for our rights, even though he's not a citizen. I mean, I don't know if he said he wasn't a citizen. So that's the thing, right? Is it that Richard is going to, by proxy, fight the SEC through some other means? Like he won't be the one appearing in court. And I mean, this is all just, what I'm trying to like wrap my head around. Or, is it that he is actually going to go up to bat? And because I mean, I just, with the way he's talking and what he's been saying and what I understand of him, I really think that that's his next battle. That's what he's going to try to do, is really fight against this and bring all of these things that are wrong out into the open and showcase them for what they are, and help us really attain freedom of speech and freedom of movement. So shout out to Richard on that. DJ Bummer. Yeah. Hey, check it out. This is the link from this morning. Excellent show. If you like drum and bass, please copy, paste that. 007 McCrypto says, Happy New Year, SJ. Thank you for all the work you've done. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. RH Max says, me and the dudes were removed. No offense taken. He's probably right. You might be. You know what though, Max? Of all the videos, if you look at my shorts list and sort them by popular, yours is number 1. There's one that you did that got 3,000 views, and it's the one about soda. And y'all, I think that, and hey, if you're watching this right now while you're watching, do me a little favor. Let's do a little experiment. Go ahead and click on over to my Shorts tab and comment on a couple of the videos, and I'll reply to you. And maybe comment on a couple that have lower viewings right now, and let's see if anything changes, because it seems to me like the videos and the shorts that get comments, that where there's like a little conversation going back and forth, those get more traction. Those seem to be the ones that are getting higher viewage because people are interacting on it. So I'm very curious to find out if that is part of why. So actually, and let's do this. Let me ask, may I ask, please, would you please comment tonight, I believe at 5 p.m. Right after this, I'm going to post 368. And then at 5 p.m., maybe even 5:55 p.m., I'll post Pacific time. I'm going to post quote 369. So if you're watching this, you're a fan of mine, you want to help out a little bit, leave a comment on the very last video today. Leave a comment on quote 369. I'm going to post it on YouTube, X, and TikTok. But I just, on YouTube, I'm curious. I want to see what happens if we comment on that one and how that one goes, because that quote is great, by the way. It's a wonderful, it's just kind of like an all-encompassing SciVive quote. So that's why I saved it for last. Let's see. Max says, curious what your top viewer videos were as far as styles and titles go. Yeah. So that's the thing, is that's what I'm saying, is I think that a lot of the top content was where interaction happened. I mean, in the top 9, there were a couple that Max did. There was one that another guy did. And then none of the ASMR ones hit really well at all. There's a couple from the original, like when I started doing them right away, where my background changes, and those were good too. That whole series where I'm going and I have a background that's different here and there, those did really well in general. So I think that that's another good thing, because you're trying to keep their attention, right? Like if every 3 seconds the background's changing and something's going on behind you, then that seemed to also get a lot of traction. So yeah, I'm definitely going to study what I did, what went well there, and how that all worked. But again, that's the crazy thing, Max, is like what did well on one platform may not have didn't do well on another platform. And very interesting right now on TikTok, every video I'm posting is getting at least 700 views, whether there's comments or not, no matter what format I did. And I'm wondering now if that's because I'm actually being very consistent, because I've posted because I stopped doing TikTok for a little while. I was just doing YouTube and Twitter. And then I was like, well, let me just, it doesn't take long. So I just threw it up there, and I'm posting on TikTok again. And I wonder if, because I've been consistent, every single video has gotten nearly the same amount of views, between high 600s and 700s. So it's going to be interesting to see, what it is that I want to take from this experience and experiment and move forward into the work that I'm now doing for Discourse Syndicate and for RG3. So that's we were talking about projects I'm moving my energy into. That's where I'm going, right? Is I am now, I looked up, I kind of get to make my own title because I'm doing several things for RG3. And so I think that I landed on executive assistant and content manager. Executive assistant and content manager. I think that's right, because I manage his calendar. I'm producing all of the Chatting with a Captain shows and F and Hangout. I'm doing all of the AI, anything that you see RG post that's got an AI picture on it, I've created that. All of the thumbnails now for F and Hangout and Chatting with the Captain. And I'm really enjoying that kind of work. So I'm going to be focusing on that and putting more of that really cool content out. So look forward to that. We got D Jr. in the house. Happy New Year. We got to shout out Hex Fashion. This is D Jr.'s company. Hold on, I'm not getting naked. Or am I? Like that DeFi cat. Love this shirt. 100% organic cotton. It's wonderful. This is T-Huddle. T-Huddle.com. Fashionnetwork.store, I think. Love you guys. Oh, put your links in the thing. Yeah, definitely review it. Moonmutt Hess says Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. Daddy Hexler says, yeah, Happy New Year's, SJ from Sydney, Australia. Did I do it right? That's probably terrible. Oh, Daddy says, thanks for all you do. You are welcome. I'm great. I'm grateful. I am grateful. I am great. I'm grateful to be doing what I do. It feels great to be part of this community. Oh, Spike, what's up? What is up, friend? I hope you got the link for the Dropbox because I would love to see those videos. That's also on my plate. That's another big thing. If you are a content creator and you spoke at the PulseChain Tour conference at any point, and I haven't reached out to you yet, reach out to me. My plan is to go through all of these and send them to every content creator so that you all have access to the speeches that you did, and you can make some shorter form content if you'd like to with those. I am eventually going to be putting together a kind of sizzle reel that summarizes how this last year went with the PulseChain Tour and to get more eyes on moving forward into this next year. So super cool. Super cool. 369. Miriam says consistency definitely helps boost your videos, especially IG from what I've seen with other creators. Yeah. Instagram is kind of like a whole new frontier for me. I've been doing my own Instagram content, and just recently I helped RG set up his Instagram so that when he goes live on YouTube, right, for chatting and effing, he's going to have so he's doing that on his computer, and then on his phone he has a separate stream that's like kind of a behind the scenes shot of him on Instagram. So yeah, man, it's the whole social media bag is a lot. There's a lot. And hey, shout out to anyone that does social media. I think that people who do this kind of work really kind of get the short end of the stick sometimes, or get like scoffed at or not paid enough, because it's a lot of work. It really is. You know, I have a good friend actually who does some social media for a school, and her boss doesn't appreciate what she does and thinks she just sits there playing on her phone all day, and she definitely doesn't get paid enough. And it is a constant it's a full-time job, 100%. I mean, I am constantly working and doing things, and there's never a lack of content to be working on or putting out there, or to be reviewing to see, you know, what are the new trends, what are the new words that I can use, what are the hashtags I need to use, who do I need to add, like how do I make this stand out so people will watch it, what's the audience I need to hit. So that's something that we're going to continue to delve into, to look into, and to talk about as we move forward, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I am going to go ahead and resend link. I will do that, Spike. I got you. I'll resend it. Miriam says social media is overwhelming. I feel it's easier for the younger generation for sure. I'm gonna read a couple more comments and then we're gonna start the show. Red Squirrel says oi oi, and Academacy says Happy New Year to you and all. Happy New Year, everybody. I'll probably be talking a little bit over this as we do this, but I'm gonna just play this playlist. I didn't have time to look into this, but I it looks like I skip from quote 1 to quote 5. And I don't know how that happened. I think I had started just doing it on Instagram. So I think I need to find those old Instagram posts and add them to this playlist, or I need to I might have just been live, so they might be lost forever. But anyways, without any further ado, let me see if I can get this to work correctly, because sometimes you hopefully you guys can hear the sound. So let me start playing it and let me know what happens. Let me know if this works. Let me take this down real quick. And thanks for your patience while I do this. Present, share screen. Here we go. All right, here's this. Now I'm going to play it, and as soon as you can, guys, let me know whether or not you can hear this, okay? Good afternoon, everyone. I decided that I'm going to try and... How are we doing? Volume? Hear it? SciVive every day for the next 365 days, at least. So the first one, I'm going to start with the quotes from the intro. And the first quote I have for you is... Good. Okay, secret. You can hear it. Sweet. Luck. And you can hear me too? Audio's good all around? Preparedness and opportunity. So keep that in mind as you go throughout your day. And you can check out the full current reading of SciVive on my channel. And I'm in a tent. You are listening to the sounds of DJ Cryptomatic in the background doing shout out DJ Cryptomatic and Soul Disco Tuesdays. So yeah, check him out on Twitch if you happen to be. I was living in Ohio in a tent. Yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day when that was recorded. Remember to get some sun on your skin. How life has changed, friends. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well. I hope you have a smile on your face. I hope you're staying hydrated. Today's SciVive quote is also from the intro, and it goes,
Look at that hair.
"A great life cut short is tragic, and a long life of mediocrity is tragic just the same." I decided yesterday, as I was catching up on my posts and posting to TikTok, that I would do, instead of 365 days a year, I would do 369 days. 369 is a number code that Nikola Tesla thought was the key to unlocking the universe. And Richard Hart uses 369 in the sizing of the HEX logo. He says that it shows exponential growth and it has good synergy. So keep that in mind. Have a great day. Good morning, everyone. I'm here with a couple of morning tips for you. Firstly, hydration. Drink water if you can first thing in the morning. It's really good for you. I have begun to have a ritual of drinking tea every morning. If you're a coffee drinker, you might want to consider switching over to tea.
I need to get back into that. I am drinking way too much coffee right now.
And I've also started a habit of writing every morning.
I also need to get back into that. I haven't been journaling. I did get a journal for my birthday, or for Christmas.
See more of that, you
from
can
Georgia.
head over to Instagram
So
and
I need
check
to
out Poetry by SJ.
get back
I'll
in
put
that.
a link in the description of this video as well. And our SciVive quote of the day. This is from the intro. "Knowledge alone isn't power. Intelligent action and using your knowledge equals power." I hope you all have a wonderful day. More people make more progress more quickly. Feels fitting considering a place full of people. Okay, so I know I said yesterday that I was going to go in order, but if you follow Richard Hart on Twitter or Instagram, you'll know why I'm skipping ahead to this quote from the chapter called Body. And this is from Richard's book, SciVive. "You don't have a way to rinse your butt? Well, the Europeans really got this one right. With a bidet, you'll use much less toilet paper and have a much cleaner butt. Water is your friend." Hey, good day to everyone. Today's SciVive quote is another one of my absolute favorites. This is from the intro. It says, "If you want your personality to shine a pure white light, you need to have all of the colors in balance. When you're out of balance, you will have a tendency to tint everything you look at. Without the correct wavelength balance, you will not see things or people for what they really are." Have a great day.
I missed that top. I lost it somewhere.
All of us have the fortune of misfortune. You never know when your turn of bad luck has actually saved you from an episode of worse luck. If you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. Simplicity is key. SciVive is only as good as the actions you take from it.
This is the top two.
And by proxy, the actions others
It's Max's
take from it.
video, and then this one. That was my number 2 video.
Dream the dream, live the dream. In this world, you're either making your dreams come true, or you are a part of someone else's. Your life is in your hands. Don't waste a moment. Seize the future and make it work for you. At any given moment, there's an infinite amount of good and bad things going on. And the feelings that you will feel and your perception of the world will be what you focus on. Good morning, everyone.
This one was also way up.
It is
started
another
on
beautiful
my
day.
body. So,
And I have another wonderful clip for you. This is one of my favorites because it gets your mind to think in a different way. Focus on what you don't want, only as long as it takes to invert it. And create the positive understanding and language of what you do want. The best knowledge can't be read. You must beat it out of the world with your unquenchable thirst. Curiosity experimenting, and tinkering are much better ways to waste time than, say, mindless, trance-inducing techniques which destroy consciousness. Or, drugging yourself into a coma. You think that there's not a place in this world that you can have an impact. But if you focus your mind, regardless of how incapable you might think you are, with enough focus, you can make a lasting impact.
It's funny to watch, to look at all the different places that I've been. Oh, ad.
Are you ready?
Interesting. I'm getting ads on my own channel. What's happening? Why is this happening right now? No.
Learning about fitness is not fitness.
I need to fix that. Weird.
Is not dancing. Learning about success is not success. Unless you are a teacher or author, learning is only as useful as it turns into action.
What do you mean not an ad? What
Hey
is going on
everyone,
here?
welcome to episode 4 of the Hourglass program. This workout was your
What's happening?
You can't really listen.
That's weird.
When you're talking.
Oh, because I added
really
added workouts that I liked to the wrong playlist. That's what happened. I see. Thank
or
you.
Be an individual, or do that thing that only you can do. If you're busy absorbing everyone else's consciousness,
Those are good workouts.
And not formulating your own consciousness.
There we go.
Your mind will hit you every few seconds to do the old bad things you used to do. And as you tell your mind otherwise, after a while, it just stops trying to get you to do stupid things. As you starve out the old habit, eventually it just dies. Sit in silence, but not as a monk trying to destroy thought. Love your thought. Play with your thought. It is the closest thing to the real you you're likely to find if you search. Pay attention as you would the mind of someone you just met for the first time. What's going on in this organic, biochemical supercomputer when you close your eyes? We were built to absorb, process, and create virtual realities that may come true in our head. That's what dreaming is. That's what imagination is. That's what play is. It is us getting the best real-world practice we can get without greatly endangering our lives. You don't exist if your mind is only composed of other people's thoughts. You must give your mind the freedom and the blank canvas to paint your own identity, to sing your song out into the world, and be heard as no one ever before you. Amplifiers and chemical stimulants such as caffeine, amphetamines, and the chemicals your own brain can make after meditating or firing an empowering pattern off can amplify your brain abilities. SciVive, however, argues that wisdom is not enough. As stated earlier, the wise person is thought of as being kind of alone and not that powerful. I mean, you never picture the wise person as young, vital, and fit, nor loved and popular. Although he knows what is likely to happen if you do a certain thing. If you are passionless and without drive and have no desires, well then how is your brain supposed to know what to put a big red flag next to in order to remember? How is it supposed to bookmark what's important to you if you don't tell it, if you don't mention it, if you don't let it feel it? To be only a mirror of the random media and friends that you interact with is to waste the unique gifts that your ancestors passed down to you. Be yourself. Be the best you can be. Choose who that is. Don't be lazy with it. Your standards for who you demand you will be are the most important standards you'll ever have. The power of analogy. The more you understand about the world in one area, the more you understand about the world in all the other areas, as long as you learn how to apply the analogy, and as long as you learn how to apply the framework somewhere else. Making accurate predictions is really hard. Thus, when a problem is complicated enough You can be better off just doing the things you know you need to try no matter what. And while you're doing them, your subconscious will be working on guessing what the future will look like. Take the limited time that you have and spend it on what is here and what actually matters. Don't be a would-be philosopher that learns how to solve the world's problems that aren't yours. Try to find relevancies in life so that when a thing is similar to something else and you understand the first thing, you now nearly instantly understand the next thing and all other things like it that you ever see again. The amateur imitates what the master improves. If you think about the problems of others or judge the rightness or wrongness of their ideas, you are but a mirror of their thoughts. That causes you to neglect your own ideas and restrict your creativity if you are only a reflection of someone or something. Don't sacrifice today's effectiveness for the dream of tomorrow's effectiveness, because you could be optimizing for the wrong things. You could be optimizing for a reality that will never happen. Don't solve problems you don't have. Every problem you solve that you don't have means there's another looming problem you ignored that you do have. True wisdom is when one's intelligence has been applied to a body of knowledge over a long enough time, forcing one's own independent derivative, and is in congruence enough with the underlying situation of the world that you have a very strong mental boat, high sailing effectively downriver. Usually in life, to be effective basically all of the time, you've got to solve the questions that are today's problem to earn the right to have tomorrow's problem.
It would be fun to go through
Worry
this
about today's problem.
and figure out how many.
When it
different
comes to
locations-
sleep, environment is key. Cut out the blue lights, use Flux software, which turns
This
screens
was at
to
the
warmer
Full
tone
Masters
that does not interfere with your sleep.
golf tournament that
So in
Galen
Cheeseburger Land, it takes
together.
about 45 minutes of brisk biking to cancel out about 3 minutes of normal eating.
That'd be fun to like
That's a
pinpoint, like
12-to-1
or
ratio.
map out like
That's
how
why
many
cutting
SciVive
calories
folks
going
were
in is more
in
effective than
different
trying to
places.
out-exercise a bad diet.
Max did a lot of these.
Well, hello there. So
I'm
I've been
dead.
sticking to just the quotes mostly, but this one in particular, I wanted to make a comment about. Years ago, I read something similar, and ever since I read this, I decided that every morning when I wake up, the first thing that I do is smile. So the quote is,
I still do that.
Scientific American says that by consciously smiling, we trigger a psychological feedback mechanism that causes us to be happy. By avoiding smiling, you are dampening your own potential for spontaneous happiness.
Feel good going to sleep early by thinking of tomorrow's great performance. Learn to see the profit in feeling great and being well rested tomorrow.
Realize that whatever you're doing that you want to stay up late for right now and screw up tomorrow, it just seems important because it's urgent and present now. But it's probably actually much less important than what you'll be doing the next day.
Hereditary exists. Learn what hindered your family or was likely to, and avoid those pitfalls. It's very easy to look up what the contradictions are. It wouldn't take more than 2 hours to know what you should be looking out for.
In a world where we are much more limited by how much we emotionally want something than by our intellectual ability to understand how to get it, it is more important to have a consuming desire and drive towards something than it is to optimize how you get to the goal.
If you have 3 sodas a day, you'll be
This
roughly
is the number
45
one
pounds
quote.
heavier for the rest of your life.
This one has the
That's
most
how powerful
views.
calories are. Consequently, if you drink 3 sodas less a day, and we're talking the normal Kansas
Max's
soda,
cute face.
not monstrosity
Gotta
you
be
can
it.
find on sale at the
That.
local convenience store,
So charming.
you will lose weight.
I'm not being sarcastic
When
either,
you
Max.
reach
You're adorable.
that point of exhaustion during a run or pushing weights, when you would usually stop, keep running for 1 more minute or complete another rep with your weight training. You'll be surprised
to see how much further you can push yourself.
That was in
Being strong is
California
better
mountains.
than being fast. There is a weakness in running
Lady.
from your problems
Hey, girl,
instead
hey.
of getting stronger and facing your problems.
If you're using food to change the way you feel, you're always going to tend to have more calories than you need. Food already tastes amazing as is, without the added benefit of being used as a mood-altering substance. Those two combined can make weight loss nearly impossible.
That one's big for me. That's been something I've had
The
to
habit is
focus
worth
on in my life.
100 times
I definitely
what the lift is
am an
worth.
anxious eater.
Maintain your good habits.
Why is it that man should serve the laptop instead of standing strong, having good posture, and letting the laptop
Fuzzy
serve
slippers.
you?
Fluffy slippers.
Move it. Don't move yourself.
If you need to move around for fitness anyway,
Thank you.
could try learning a new skill while you're doing it. Writing, dancing, a sport. While the game
Get
can
him!
make a fitness
Get
easy in
him!
a way
She's
that
so
enables
badass.
time and laziness. The skills gained stay for a lifetime.
If you focus on being great at a single thing, then when you do that thing, you're not missing out on your potential in all the other things you could have been good at.
Your liver is a true sacrificial teammate
This
of
is,
chemical compounds, the original ultimate
think I'm doing right now.
survivalist. It takes the hit for the rest of your body and sacrifices some of itself so that every other part of your body can keep kicking
Sammy
butt.
Chica. Oh God, that name is
Some
totally
prefer to be
interesting.
learning or doing almost anything.
Next time when
other
she
than
made
lifting
this,
weights
she
for the
knitted
sake
this adorable hat for
That's
me.
just the competitive life we live. But if you want a quality mate, you'll want to do some lifting. How else can they tell you're better than the rest if the rest looks sexier
Thanks,
than
Chris.
you?
Yeah, totally spaced for a second there.
If you're smart enough to educate yourself and have a correct opinion about a subject, why let that die in your mind? You might as well allow it to benefit others.
You can make a little change in the way you eat and just stop eating when you're satisfied instead of full. Hara hachibu is a Japanese term meaning eat until you're 80% full. It originated in the city of Okinawa, where people used this advice as a way to control their eating habits.
Drinking alcohol is a loan against the future that you must pay back with interest.
Make babies, or make sure you're okay with being the last of a 100,000-year chain of successful parents. Life's main purpose is to survive and produce more life. And we owe this debt to the universe in return for allowing us this experience.
Let's make some babies.
Doubting doesn't produce anything. Overconfidence may produce many incorrect iterations, but also produces the possibility of getting it right eventually.
Oh, Mag, she's so badass.
Everyone uses soap, but it's
This
a
was
rather
another
new
style I
human
tried doing where it
invention.
was just the quote.
And as much as we use it,
With
we probably
stock
need to
footage.
cancel out the wiping out
Some of those
of our
hit really well,
natural
some of them
oils
didn't. I
with
just
some
did one a couple
lotions.
days ago, and it was. Sorry.
Having goals that are too large and sampled slowly is not smart. Having goals that are small and sampled quickly is smart. You get faster rewards.
Learning from biology is going to help the world more than trying to recreate a singularity in a particle accelerator.
As a living person, it's not normal or desirable to be totally still, neither in emotion or location. To be human is to experience not just the storms
I think those were my
calms
shots.
of Mother Nature, but
Yeah,
of our
that's
own
my camera.
passions.
I forgot I did that. That was pretty cool, huh?
Unlike many environments, your internal emotional environment can change in a heartbeat. Unlike the environment in the real world, in your emotional environment, it is you that has the momentum, whereas the environment itself is actually another variable.
Since gratitude is a key to happiness, it's important that we honor those who we owe so much. Rarely have you ever heard anyone genuinely exclaim how lucky they felt for the roads being paved or to have such a wonderful language available to them that they didn't even need to invent.
I think that was one of the first times she was
You
ever
have to
on camera.
choose what you don't care about, just as you have to choose what you buy and don't buy with your money.
You have to choose which things
you'll use your limited hearing currency on.
Oh, kitties.
Your phone will remind you when you need to send someone a happy birthday text or gift. Your phone will wake you up. You will not wake you up. You are a crappy alarm clock. Let your phone do all the remedial tasks. Let your brain do what juices it, what gives it passion, what engages it, what is at the limit of its understanding.
Hey Richard, it's Monica from Mofit Meals, wishing you a fantastic happy birthday. Thank you for you. Enjoy your day.
Richard Hart, Paul Sorka here, wishing you a happy birthday, sir. Thanks for all you do. Cheers.
Happy birthday, Richard. May each year be better than the last. Thank you for everything you do.
What you want can't be impossible at the same time that others are already living that reality. Thus, which belief is more powerful for you to hold? The one that gives you the chance of greatness, or the one that has you failing by default and not learning what the real challenges are?
Use every trick to make the path of least resistance the one that brings you long-term fulfillment. Make decisions now that your future self will be likely to follow.
A lot in the background. I kept hearing it over and over again.
It's a cascade. The better you stack the deck now, the better hand your future self will get to play.
Yeah, girl.
Do you want to have better emotions in your life? Great. Sit up in your chair right now. Breathe deeply. And just hold that posture for 1 minute. I want you to think of a time you felt really proud about something.
Right now.
Really intense feelings of pride.
I feel that way right now. I do.
You deserve to feel great right now.
I do.
Your memory is like any other muscle. It gets better with use. The more you journal the truly beautiful things that have happened in your life, the quicker you will be able to recall them, and the more of a positive effect they will have on your existence.
This idea of mindfulness and holistic thought, and it being one extra level higher up and looking down at a wider problem, where the original parts become smaller parts of a larger functioning system, is how you make breakthroughs and discoveries. Elon Musk calls this thinking from first principles.
Is the world more lacking in the ability or knowledge of how to do things?
Shout out, Georgia.
Or is it more lacking in the desire to do things? SciVive will tell you that what the world is missing is desire.
We can share. Georgia and I can share.
If you settle for the stuff that's just okay, well, you don't really leave room for the good stuff. Low expectations are the father of regret.
All right, this is DJ Cryptomatic, and here's my favorite Richard Hart SciVive quote that I live by every day. If you want trance, an alteration of consciousness, the least risky way to get there is dance, chanting, singing. It occupies the mind and feels good.
The legendary DJ Cryptomatic.
When you aren't comfortable with uncertainty, your body and your mind will put you in an unattractive state of stress. You will tunnel vision on that which you fear, and it will destroy your quality of life. Focus on what you want. Let your life be filled with adventure you travel through appreciatively.
Stop living everyone else's program for you. Build your own program. Stop absorbing everyone else's content to the exclusion and deletion of yourself.
Shout out Money Gang.
Have balance. Give and take. Absorb, build, mix, extend, expand. Give back to the world.
Somewhere along the way, adults lose the smarts that kids come up with. Adults assume that whatever they want isn't really on the table, so they aim for the floor. If you could dream the biggest dream and whatever you wanted would become instant reality, what would you dream for?
We all have a way to do something we know we shouldn't be doing. For some people, it's drinking. Then you come back and you're in a state of stagnation. There's a time for playing and there's a time for doing things that you enjoy. SciVivers will tell you that those times are only after you have got something working for you while you sleep. It's just too powerful. It's too powerful to skip.
Feel the future. If you're doing something great that leads in a great direction, dream a little in that direction. Take some of that future joy and bring it back into the present with yourself.
Knowing the true value and joy at the end of the path will make you want to travel truer and faster down that path.
Enduring pain in order to stash up enough energy for success in the future to make a real breakthrough is kind of like holding your breath before a dive. It's difficult while you're doing it, but it's the only way you can dive all the way to the bottom, pick up what you need on the floor, and get all the way back up with enough oxygen. The hardship of getting no rewards or people telling you what you're doing is stupid is exactly what's necessary to make that breakthrough.
A life of success is a life of failure. The more opportunities you have to do good and try and experiment with, the more you're going to mess up. But the only person who makes no mistakes is a dead person.
All your beliefs and values and common meanings that you assign to things are what is going to filter all of the new reality that you experience as you're traveling down the path. And it won't always be a path. A lot of times, it will be making a path of your own. Trailblazing, they call it. The first minute of progress is the most important, for it is that minute that makes all the minutes that come after it possible. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Get that first minute, so any subsequent minutes of nearly any quality will be more likely to get you into the hobby and then enjoying it, and then gaining a habit of doing what you need to be doing. Common habits of focus and common useful questions can help you choose your path. Can I do this 10 times
I feel like
faster
this was during the
or
winter
larger?
because it was harder.
Who can help me with this?
To
Who
go outside
already
and
has
record,
had this
you know?
problem?
So I
Are
did
there
a lot
other
of these
people who work in
stock video
fields
footage
close
ones
to
when
this
it was
problem?
cold.
How can this help the most people? Is this the best thing I can be focused on? Any time that
That's
you want to feel
Louisiana.
better about the rain, just remember the trees and flowers
Nola,
need to drink.
the Nola umbrella. Did you see it?
Organizing the world and looking through the lens of an organization has a massive effect in your ability to act and perceive. The frame and lenses that you use to see the world directly affect the number of actual behaviors that are presented for you.
If you want your personality to shine a pure white,
I forgot he did one of these.
you need to have all of the colors in balance.
Look at that.
When you're out of balance, you will have a tendency to tint everything you look at. Without the correct wavelength balance, you will not see things or people for what they really are. Walk in balance, Hexkins.
There's an art and
You
magic
guys,
to knowing what you're
hold
capable of and what is
the
reasonable or
phone.
even unreasonable.
Hold up.
But worth
Hold up. I got to pause this real quick. Did you hear that song? Hold on. Oh, wait. Why was it? Why? Oh, because it's not. I don't want to go. I don't want to. Okay. I don't want to go. Okay. I'm tripping out right now because the track that just played in the background when RG3 was doing the quote is the track that I chose to do his intro on his intro that I just made. And I didn't even know that. Oh, for a little circle. That's so strange. Okay, no more pausing. There's a lot to see here. Continue.
but worth trying to do.
That's a
It still
trip,
feels
though.
good
That's
when you're
seriously
failing,
freaking me out.
because you're going to fail a lot along the way.
Don't cry over spilled milk or milk that will have spoiled by the time you figure out if it's spilled or not. Only what is local and soon matters most. If the universe is one of many or a simulation, it truly matters not.
Okay, also, if you're
Those
just tuning
problems
in
or opportunities
and
are the
didn't hear
purview
earlier,
of those
please
who are
go
able to pass the
comment
hurdle
on
of
some of
survival.
these
Sure.
Biological problems are
Specifically,
coming
I'm
to
asking
kill
people to
you
comment
and all that you
tonight at
love.
5:55
They
on
must be solved
the
first.
369th.
We stand on the shoulders of friends and great men that came
But I have a
before us
feeling that people
and reach higher than we even thought possible.
kind of
Shakespeare had a nice
algorithms,
turn of
and
words when
I
he
wanna
said,
test it out.
"You do not find yourself,
Leave me
create
some
yourself."
comments. We'll talk back and forth. I would love
Thus, your spirit is your feelings. The
Robert,
programming
100%.
which has served tens of thousands of men and women who ate, made love, and made sure your ancestors ate and made love and were safe until you were old enough to have sex and perpetuate the process. That programming, that giant, long, unbroken chain that results in you here reading these words, that is the real decider of what you will become, what your actual soul is.
In all matters where time to think exists, see the system around the thing. Choose what you want. Be strategic, not merely tactical, and you can solve the problem the first time.
Frustration emotionally is like a programming function where you have to decide how far down a path to go before you realize it's a failure. Frustration is an emotion which is basically a halting. It makes you stop what you are doing and try something else. If you change the level, speed, or intensity to which a person feels frustration, what you are actually doing is putting a limit on the depth of their search function.
One trick you can use to shift the reward of what you're doing close enough to the present for you to enjoy doing it and feel rewarded working on it is to see how fast you can do it. And if it's something repetitive, you can see if you can beat your old time.
The more opportunities you have in the future, the more pain you'll endure, because you will make more mistakes because you are pushing harder. This analogy has been made before. If you're a car and you're not moving, you're not going to see any bugs in your window. But if you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour flying through life, you're going to have a windshield full of squashed bugs. You need to choose. Do you want to be a shooting star, or do you want to be a dormant stone?
Don't be a stone.
As an entrepreneur, you must choose. Do you want to get rich the easy way, first by giving people what they want, and then try and do good in the world? Bill Gates' method. Or should you take the harder route and get rich by making the world a better place along the way?
If you're not giving back to the world that brought you into it and gave you roads to walk on, understandings to learn and benefit from, a nice language
Didn't you know
to
this is
speak,
also a dance party?
beautiful art
Watch party,
and
dance
music
party.
to immerse yourself in, and a body not riddled with bullet holes or under Nazi government control, you are an ass.
If you choose a solitary way to make money, you've left behind some of the easiest full multipliers. Don't try and change a tire in your car without a jack. Don't try to skydive without a parachute. Don't try to get rich without ownership.
When you hear commonly held beliefs, such as the amount of money you make is the average of your 4 best friends, you may think, why is that? Because those are the people that are going to affect what you focus on, what you do, and what you see as actionable behavior based on the inputs that you allow into your mind. Whatever allows them to achieve success is likely to rub off on you.
The real, sustainable world desires facts and figures, and feats of artistic excellence, all of which require time, effort, dedication, and a foundation of study that has no shortcuts.
Do you have a drinking problem? What's the problem? Alcohol is near your hand grabs it and puts it in your body. How do we get the hand further from the alcohol? Well, you could chop your hands off, or you could go somewhere where there isn't alcohol, or you could find an empowering meaning that you felt stronger about through deep soul searching than the reason you're reaching for the drink.
Shout out to
Humans
Hex
are built to be
PulseChain. I'm
robust.
gonna. Oh,
Do you have a drinking problem? What's the problem?
So basically, I just wanted to say shout out to him because he is he's sober, and he also like sponsors people and helps them with their sobriety. So it was really cool to see people pick quotes that were super meaningful to them, and just like want to like perpetuate that into the world via SciVive. So just wanted to point that out real quick. Back to the show.
Humans are built to be robust, and robustness requires that we all have slight differences in desires and efficacy so that we can find optimal paths or create them where they can be made. If everyone felt the same way about everything, it would leave us open to more risk and less excellence. Living things have mutations to find excellence. We have experimentation, and we all have chance and luck.
Be prideful when it's deserved, and humble when it's appropriate. Don't mistake the pain losers feel when they remind you of their very existence that they're not achieving what they could in their lives, and they choose to tear you down instead of building themselves up.
In life, your body is a self-correcting, self-regulating, basically conscious actor. Without stretching the use of the word conscious too far, it has its own agenda. Whether it's conscious of it or not, it wants you to do things a certain way.
Reject the commonly taken path of stress and worry. If stress and worry paid better dividends, they can be considered. They take you farther from where you want to be and lock you in a state of inaction. A coward dies 1,000 deaths.
Pay attention to what other people say about your attitude. It's easier for them to see what you're doing than it is for you. You can't even see your own face. You're too busy doing the feeling to notice that you're doing it. It's funny to watch people act like they're happy or fulfilled when you can tell they're not.
Neglecting your own needs to benefit someone else that is either useless to you or even worse, wants to harm you is self-extinguishing behavior, and is the reason that pacifists are by far the minority in behavior strategy, both among humans and other creatures. Focus on the problems you actually. Neglecting your own needs to benefit someone else.
Okay, here we go. So I got to pause real quick because I just had a whole huge influx because sweet Richard Hart just retweeted this link. So for anyone that doesn't know, that has never seen my content, that might have just popped in because Richard tweeted this, I spent the last almost 7 years and a half, basically, taking quotes from his book and sharing them with the world. On top of that, again, in case you've never been here, don't know who I am, before I did this project, I took SciVive and I read the audiobook. So you can also find that on my channel. When I did this, I didn't know who Richard was. I just had gotten into HEX and I invested and I was like, you know, I really want to know more about this guy. Who's this Richard Hart guy? Found out he'd written a couple books and I travel often. I love audiobooks myself. So I decided to try and find the audiobook. The only audiobook that existed at the time was a speech to text one. So it was very robotic sounding. There was no emotion. And I thought to myself, man, like there's a lot of really great content in this because I had started reading it. And I thought this really deserves a human read version. Even though I've never done anything like this, maybe I should. So again, without really knowing who Richard was, the impact that he'd already had on people and the community in general, I took it upon myself to do an audiobook for SciVive. And that's changed my life. It completely changed the course of my life and where I've gone and what I'm doing and who I am. And SciVive really has made me a better person. I actually just thanked Richard the other day because I've been sober for the last couple months and I love it. I feel clear. I feel on point. I feel sharp. I feel great. So thank you, Richard Hart. Thanks everyone who's tuning in right now. We're just reviewing. We're just watching. It's been quite a journey. I learned a lot along the way. You can go back on the replay and check out the beginning as to, you know, kind of what the process has been and where it's at right now. At the end of this, I think we're going to have time. Hopefully I'm going to show the last 2 videos that I haven't posted yet. And then that project will be complete. I did 369 SciVive quotes. And actually the second quote, if you rewind, you'll see why I did 369. It has to do with Richard and the ratio, 369. So thank you for joining. Hope you enjoy the watch party. I'll, comment and answer questions and stuff along the way, but we're here to just kind of watch the rest of these quotes and really let the knowledge of SciVive, all of these things that Richard had put together in this book that he wants to give to the world. We're going to let all that sink in. So happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go.
Else that is either useless to you or even worse, wants to harm you. It's self-extinguishing behavior. And is the reason that pacifists are by far the minority in behavior strategy, both among humans and other creatures. Focus on the problems you actually have. Focus on getting to the gym and lifting weights and eating right. Don't worry about how you'll fit through doorways when you're bigger and stronger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. You won't be. You're solving a problem you're never going to have. Solve the problems in order. Solve the damn problems you must solve to earn the next problem even existing. Solve today's problems today.
The actual amount of things you can convince people to do for a long enough period of time in their own life to improve their life is super small and probably an order of magnitude smaller than what you can do for yourself. Force your brain to get something into your own psychology and program it, and do it long enough for it to become a lasting habit.
You have to be more happy about what you have in this world. And if you have lots, it's because you've quite literally robbed and starved other people of the fruits of their own labor. So you really should appreciate it.
More people in the world need to take responsibility for what's happening to them in their own lives. Responsibility for oneself is absolutely massive. So if you want to live longer, then maybe watching Discovery Channel is not enough. Maybe being part of what Discovery Channel is covering would be better. Is that not an option?
Once you become wealthy, you feel the need to get more and more. And for most, it never goes away. The greed and the desire is real, and you become trapped by success. You become your work, you become your bank account. And it's a terrible thing to happen to anyone, really. For how can one cleanly decide what one wants from life when there is so much risk involved with changing, while one gets so much reward by staying the same?
Sometimes you need to program and think about identifying the wrong way, so that gives you a trigger notice. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Let me do it the right way. SciVive doesn't want you to live there. Don't spend time there. Think about problems only long enough to develop solutions, and focus on solutions.
You will not get where you want to go without hitting some waypoints along the way. Teleportation isn't going to happen. Going backwards and visualizing those waypoints is super important, for it enhances the chance that you will reach the first of them.
I was wearing that
and
hat
then the next,
the first time I ever talked
and
to
the
Richard.
next, and so on.
There's this
If you're
screen
good
where
at
he's
something
like,
and don't
I want
reward
to talk to
yourself
the girl
by
in the
being
funny
accurate
hat.
regarding the greatness of that thing, you aren't really helping
Still
yourself.
wearing funny hats.
You're just helping the haters of the world that wish you harm and wish they were better than you.
SciVive is not very interested or excited about testing the limit of everyone's delayed gratification muscle. SciVivers would rather see you become excellent and make money by making the world a better place than sitting around letting compounding interest try to make up for your personal lacking.
100%.
Go forth and be excellent. Forget about compounding interest.
When you use what already exists as a starting point to calculate the next thing that you will do, then you already have blinders on that will limit your creativity. You don't need a better game. You need a way to gamify things that actually help mankind. You don't need a way to make long-distance phone calls cheaper on landlines. You need to stop having landlines. That type of thinking.
Some people are happy to get a 50% discount somewhere they're valued. Others are happy to say they get half off the planet because they've got twice the income.
You should try advertising whatever it is you plan to sell without.
I've also learned a lot about audio, honestly, in the last couple weeks, and a lot of that is thanks to Richard. So thanks again, Richard.
Can't get people to call the ad. What's the use of having the product?
One of the
at
major
all?
things.
If you currently own, use, or benefit exclusively from lots of stuff,
You can tell
and you couldn't have built all that stuff on your own,
channel.
you better be grateful. Someone else had to build it for you instead of themselves, or you wouldn't have it unless they died and left it to you.
What if Thomas Edison or Alexander Graham Bell were awarded a couple more years just to finish up those things they didn't complete? We could have had more scientific and economic benefits. The same greatness is expected of you. Utilize your extra years by doing positive things for the world. Maybe you can use one extra year of your life to say goodbye to your family and tick some boxes off your bucket list.
Technology enlarges the pie for all, and it's the job of our social systems and governments to make sure that no one party is overly harmed in the process, and to redistribute the earnings from technological process across the people. There is no good in this world, but for which that benefits man. Without man, there is no good.
People vote with their dollars. If your ideas are terrible,
People will let you
That
know
again.
by not buying it. If you don't give them the ability to vote with their dollars, then you've never truly asked them if what you're doing is viable or not.
I
This
like
is
the
because
name
the
for it.
only reliable answer that you can use to know whether what you're doing is truly valuable to someone else or not is to ask them to answer you in cold, hard cash.
Treat your potential employees with the same respect you treat your customers when you market
Aw,
to them.
shout out,
Do
Matt.
not command them.
Darling.
Do not insult them.
Thank you.
Respect them.
Very kind.
You want your website to have none of the time-wasting, meaningless dribble that consumes so many other
So good.
websites that are much more concerned
I
with
can't wait.
themselves
I really want to get
than their
SciVive out there from
customers.
him. Like,
The highest and best
I guess I'm
use
waiting on
of a
him.
website is to serve
Sorry, I know, he knows.
their visitors.
He knows. It's on
You'll
the
get more from serving others than you could ever get serving yourself. The sooner you start helping everyone else get what they want, the sooner you can hire a team of people who focus solely on making your life better so you don't have to.
Hey everyone, A-Wild-SJ here. Thanks so much for tuning in to these SciVive clips. I hope you're enjoying them. Here's a great one from Richard. It says, when people want to make a lot of money and get rich, I try and tell them to get on the sales side because it's got exponential growth capacity. Whereas cost savings, manufacturing differences, and those things do not have exponential growth capacity at all, unless you combine them with the required sales increases.
It's easy to think that what makes a man rich is what he does. In fact, what makes a man rich is what everyone else does. Bill Gates isn't wealthy because he started a business. He's wealthy because the entire world bought his products.
When you lease a new car and you keep getting new leased cars every couple of years, you keep losing the maximum amount of value on the
tried to
car
tell my mom
because
this.
you keep paying for it during the period when its value is going down the fastest. If you want to save money on a great car, you can own it when it goes down in value slower, after some other dum-dum has already paid to drive it off the lot for you.
If you start out as
I only
most
buy
of us do in the
used,
world, then you have to work for a living. If your choices are to perform services or make or sell products, SciVive strongly suggests you go into the products route.
Complain less. Complaining is describing an event in a negative tone with no indication of next steps to fix or improve the situation.
When you sell the hours of your life for money, you'll never find more hours to sell. You can also never increase your product range if you only have the hours you have. The best you can do is improve the market into which you sell your service, the hours of your life. You raise the price on your services. This is called getting a new job and finding a new boss to pay you.
When you are living in tune with your expectations,
Shout out
you
A-Bit.
will find the lasting inner glow and
I'm also not
smile
speaking
that
directly
just
into my
doesn't
mic,
seem to
Robert.
go
Hopefully
away.
this is better.
When it first appears, you'll be curious as to why it is that you're happy for no reason.
Is that the sequel
This is
to the
true
highest
and
of stakes,
lasting
the hardest
joy
of
that
winning?
comes with
I'm about it.
living up to one's expectations.
Focus on those things you can interact with, the things you can touch and influence.
Thank you, Sloth.
And the world will bend to your will. You must focus on that which is coming at the expense of
I
that
think
which
we
has
might have
passed.
seen yours already, Sandy Beach.
The future is rapidly
I think we
approaching.
did.
And the past is forever out of reach.
Because
The
yours was like
past
a
is
view
but
of
an
like
idea,
the lake, wasn't
unattainable,
it?
while the future
I think we watched
is
it already.
unavoidable.
The 80-20 rule makes it so that 80% of your problems come from 20% of your customers, and 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your products, etc. So by focusing on the good stuff and getting rid of the bad, you can do great things.
Do not give your money away. What about all those other charges that show up on your credit card bill that you never got around to canceling? You probably need to eat rice and beans and pay down that debt. Affordable, healthy food is a great start to making money appear where there was none. End of quote. Hey, SJ here. Speaking about affordable, healthy food, just want to encourage y'all to check out the HEX Guild on Telegram. The link is t.me/HEX Foodies, and we talk all about healthy food and great ways for you to save money and grow your own food.
10x is
Shout out Matty
misleading.
Crypto. Thanks for
It's often all
hooking me
or
up with Canva.
nothing. Complexity allows 10x to
helping me
exist
figure all that out.
sometimes.
I appreciate that a lot.
It is
I
the
use it
thing
pretty
being worked
often.
on that decides whether you can be a 10x performer or not. Before you look for a 10x person, ask, is this a thing that actually can be multiplied tenfold?
Harder to start a thing and finish the thing so they can be making you money in the background while you start the next thing than it is to half start 10 things and watch them all fail.
Wouldn't it be funny if we lived in a world where there were only very, very wealthy men who lived on the moon and left all their possessions here on Earth? We would live in their houses, swim in their swimming pools, and they would never even bother to see them. Of what use is owning a thing you can't see and do not
Also,
use?
I mean,
It's social
it's just
signaling
good editing.
value and fulfilling your greed
I like
or
memorize it real
courting
quick.
desire.
And then
The
look at the
markets
camera
are
and
where
read it,
you
and
go
go
to
back and
make a
forth.
small fortune out of a large fortune. If a guy is looking at screens all day long, guessing will it go up or will it go down, how does this make a world a better place? The people that lose in the market get to go back to work.
Thank you,
It's
Brian.
basically a
Appreciate you.
battle for who has to work and who doesn't.
If you're ever going to buy your freedom, you got to start small, right?
Richard himself.
And whatever money that you save that you don't waste on things that you don't need is money that can go into your inventory and go into your advertising. And so I suggest you don't fall for stupid scams on the internet with people telling you that you're going to get rich quick. And all they do for a living is teach people how to pretend to get rich quick, and they just take your money, the money
man,
that you could have
started it all.
used to actually
Look at
start
him.
a real business
Look at
that
him. Look at
actually
that top
provided
hat.
real value to real people. If you're paying $3,000, $5,000 to some guru who's going to tell you how to get rich, yet he doesn't use it
Moon.
himself, you have to be curious.
Know what your customers should want before they do.
Awesome,
Know
dude.
more about your product than they do. Do all the post-sale stuff for them instead of relying on amateurs to do it for you. Perhaps in the process, you'll even learn more about what you're making and selling so that the next version can be even better.
When typing emails, comments, and forum posts, type them locally in your own text editor. Otherwise, you may end up very angry when Backspace takes you off that page and deletes all the data instead of backspacing in your text. Or their form submission doesn't work, or you were posting too fast, etc.
In the world of competition for your eyeballs, the people that give you the best deal can't afford to be seen. And the people that screw you the hardest can afford to pay for your attention. If it reached out to you more than you reached out to it, then it's more than likely a scam. And there's an art to making you believe that you, and not they, did the reaching out.
Scaling is easier when code does the work for you. Part of the reason that doing a software business is so much better than any hardware business, if effective, is because the amount of good that you can do for others isn't restricted by them having to buy, have shipped, store, and perhaps charge for a physical thing. Their life can be affected in a beneficial way at nearly zero cost per extra user. That's why if you can find ways to help people digitally or through information, it's much easier to help more people.
Being disappointed and looking down or shaking your head is the opposite of performance. You can't make a good shot when you're not looking at the target. Keep your eye on the prize and don't waste time practicing bad behavior, conscious or subconscious. That missed shot is in the past. Always focus on the present and the future.
There is no life. There is only time. If you save a man's life, you have only bought him some time.
If you consider a massively successful disruptive industry like casual gaming on your phone, which destroys thousands of years of useful human conscious ability every year, it should be a warning, not an example. Its profit is not a marker of how much better it has made the world, but of how much life it has wasted. So basically,
I had to print them out, Max.
is
Actually
often
print it out,
anti-productive.
out on paper, the SciVive
You can
quotes, so I
change
read them.
what you become
Look at the camera.
by changing what you absorb.
If the world is a light and you're a crystal Swarovski bear, whatever you look at, that light shines onto you. And now you're that color.
If you focus on negative energy, now you're a negative person. If you focus on positive energy, now you're a positive person.
Thank you.
If you've heard of an item, but for some reason you can't buy it in any stores, even though it's not expensive, then you are likely looking at a pyramid scheme or a niche item. Items that are affordable and useful find their way into shelves in normal stores, just like soap and bread. They're not hard to find, and they have the minimum number of middlemen.
So, what's the trick? The trick is to not own your house. You let the trust own your house. Then the trust doesn't die. The trust doesn't pay an estate tax. You become civilly liable for some stupid thing your kids did, or some civil forfeiture, or some running a person over, or whatever the problem is. The trust didn't run anybody over.
Tune out the rest of the world to tune in on yourself. If consciousness is the most important and valuable thing in the entire world, then you should be mindful of what you spend that consciousness on.
There is money out there that desperately needs a home. And if you can pay $99,000 or 3 years of net and make 33% a year return on investment, then who would turn down a 33% per year return on investment? Banks offer what? 0% or -%? Make a business, any business, and you get to make all the future money that the business hasn't even made yet.
Thank you.
This is the principle of making future money that doesn't even exist yet.
Anything you generate in this world, whether it's text, images, or videos, you need to have it backed up. For if it was important enough for you to spend the time making it, then it's important enough for you to spend the time to make sure it doesn't get accidentally deleted.
The magic here is get out of the working class and into the capital class, and then get out of the capital class and into the trust using, estate planning, get loans against your profits instead of getting dividends class.
If the world is lucky enough to have a good person,
I love this one.
such
I
as
like
you,
this one a lot.
using the same tactics and occupying the same
Shout out
receptor
everyone.
sites on the global
Shout out all of
platforms,
y'all. Happy New
it's
Year.
much better that those receptor sites get filled by the good that you're doing than by the evil that the jerks are trying to do.
Power. Choose your initial state. Starting from the same state every time improves consistency. If you want consistent results, you must perform your action from a consistent base. Your physical and mental focus and environments must be practiced and correct. This includes your emotional state, the color of the room, the temperature, and how you use your body. Which outcome will profit you most affects your bias, perception, and performance.
The best part of any outfit is the person wearing it.
Look at him.
When the tires hit the road, you will perform at the average of your practice. You're unlikely to do much better or worse than your average. Focus on the action, not the outcome. Revisit it every once in a while just to make sure that the process is still right and it is the one that you should be focused on.
Dancing amplifies your body. If you are dancing,
I love this one too.
and your body is in bad shape, now you look
This is
worse.
also in the top like 6.
If your body is good,
this one,
and you dance well, now you look better.
Greed could be a
I wanna
useful
dance
way
with them so
to beat
much.
procrastination.
I really do.
Just decide what you
I love
want,
drum and bass.
then do it.
Love drum and bass. Come
Do
on.
it leisurely.
Come
Do
on.
it quickly. Do it
Drum and
however
bass
you
dance
want.
party, Richard Hart.
Just get what you want. Don't do what you don't want. Don't live a life of avoidance, doing things only because they're not some other thing.
Let's look for what is right in the world. Let's look for what is powerful. Let's dream the dream. And let's starve out that disempowering feeling about everything that's wrong and everything that can't be and all the fear. Let's drown that out. Let's only look at that for the minimum amount of time we need to invert it, to see the solution, to execute that beautiful solution and never have to think about the old destitution.
Power is proximity. and Proximity is power. Your proximity to other powerful people amplifies your power. Money is not power, knowledge is not power, power is power.
One night stands are like trying to fill the ocean with sand. Shovel as much as you like, the sea will never fill.
When you've got some type of mission that's all consuming, that's all you think about, and is all you know you should think about. When you finally have found a way, a strategy, a method to think about that thing, then your old habits and your old vices begin to fade away and become replaced with something more valuable.
I like that one too.
Accidental deletion. Hitting cut twice means you actually hit delete on the first thing unless you pasted it first or remember to control Z a lot. Install a clipboard manager to warn you and keep a history of things you copied.
If you're good at typing, you already know when you've made an error. You don't need the screen to tell you. Thus, by cutting out the feedback loop of the screen and the visual system, and only maintaining the feedback loop of the touch system, you have a more pure data stream to focus on, and one that is perfectly in sync.
The point is that if ever life is hard for you, it makes you want to stop. There's a lot of people who have had it worse, a lot worse, and it's worked out just fine for them when there was no clue that it should have.
In Outlook, whenever you right-click a folder under an email account, you get an option Add to Compact View. If there's a Compact View option, use it.
I love that there's all this other esoteric, kind of more
The 521 restaurant.
broader view.
If you and a friend are trying to decide where to go to dinner, there is a fun way to
life hacks,
assist in the
and they're free,
decision-making
simple,
process.
easy, efficient.
You name 5 restaurants, they
So
pick
smart.
2, and then you choose between them. And you can move the numbers around a bit. The key idea is that you trade, choosing back and forth from a set.
If you want to make something so it doesn't need willpower anymore, and so that you amplify the chances that it keeps occurring, then you need to fight through the discomfort and fight through identity issues and become a person that does that thing whether it feels good or it doesn't, because it's just what you do. It becomes easier to do it than it is to not do it. How do you get to that place? You get to that place through whatever trickery and effort and trying hard that you could possibly think of that allows you to do it for long enough that it sticks as a habit.
On a long enough time scale, the machines will outthink us all. Please don't try to outsmart the machines. It only works if you're doing a type of thinking they can't. And even then, you'll need to get the results before they figure out how to do it. It's also pretty misleading to refer to the machines as though they are evolved, conscious actors.
You are very welcome.
That exist because they care to.
We all need it, you know?
They're likely going to be the
That's why I
agents
did
of
this.
humans for quite a while. Because
As I
they're
read
the result
SciVive, I just
of a couple
saw
of
all these
billions of
nuggets,
years
all
of
these
life
golden nuggets.
being
The whole
rewarded
book
for
is just
caring
full of
that
gold.
it
It's
existed
great.
or not.
Do you know that streets, boulevards, and even-numbered highways go east-west, and avenues and odd-numbered highways go north-south?
You know the cities have an origin address? It's usually where the city was first founded.
If you analyze the lives of successful pickup artists, you won't find a whole lot of happiness. The problem with getting addicted to a time-consuming game, where 90% of the time you're not having
This
fun,
is Charlie.
or at least
Yeah.
complaining quite a bit.
This is one of her for her
Is that
first
you
before
create
she
a hole
started
in your
really
life
getting into the
where no
NFT.
matter how many lovers you get, it's never enough. In the hunt to be with others, you may never feel more alone.
This is when I started doing the ASMR.
If you read a lot of news and play a lot of games, you are basically foregoing some of the things that are most rewarding and powerful in the world, which are the things that multiply how you affect other people. To invent, to build, to influence are the things that scale. Think about the quality of what you're doing, not just the quantity.
These did not hit like I thought they would. Y'all.
As you become more intelligent, you learn to shut up, because when you're shutting up, you can learn and have more useful things to say.
Give yourself the gift of focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. Give your brain the gift of knowing what you want so that you get more of it. When you fill your life with what you want, you'll find out that you don't have space for unwanted behavior because it just doesn't fit.
Through taking responsibility, a person becomes more powerful, more effective, more worthy of higher pay, and more worthy of higher and greater employment with the best companies that exist. The person that takes responsibility becomes powerful.
Oh, are these cringe? Are they cringe? I even did, Miriam. I did a live stream. I think I did a few live streams where I was doing ASMR readings of SciVive, like by candlelight with the whole dark makeup and everything. It was a whole vibe. It was good stuff. Speaking of whole vibe, yeah. I'll still go put the black lipstick on every now and then. I may do that for the next effin again. We'll see. Every now and then on effin, I get a little dolled up. It's fun.
You're supposed to cycle into and out of happiness. Just like sleeping, eating, breathing in and out. The sooner you worry a little less about how happy you are, the sooner you get a little free happiness.
I think so. Oh, I'm gonna mute for a second. I got a helicopter coming by.
Dependent upon the amount of time that remains engaged. If you perform thought-killing activity, like gaming or remedial tasks, such as data entry perhaps, then in theory, you are actually less alive. You have had a portion of your consciousness and your ability to become unique and to grow destroyed.
Overcomplicating things to look smart is the opposite of being smart. Use a cheaper word. It's hard enough to get people to do anything in this world, especially if I have to Google what you've said.
Love your fellow man and woman. They are the best things you will ever find in this world, and the best thing you will ever be.
You should choose what face to wear during your life, for it not only greatly affects those who look at you, it affects the inside you looking at you.
Eat healthy. Most people don't. Be fit. Most people aren't. Learn some game. Learn what an attractive person looks like. Most people won't. Now you've won. Now you actually are unique, measurably. If a person's hair smells bad and sweaty, imagine how the rest of them smells. Don't be that person.
Saving face. Say and instead of but, even if it feels weird. It will feel better to them, and they'll understand your meaning without the distrust of all words following but.
The art of winning friends and influencing people because you're influencing is positive instead of evil. Maybe you're an asshole. Then maybe the world would prefer you not be good at influencing others. Good societies prefer that evil people remain powerless. You can't be all things to all people, and you shouldn't want to be. You should want to be the best you that gets what you want while still enjoying the process. You should choose your identity, not the sea of random women you're interested in. It may come as no surprise to you that we really care a lot about love. You see, without love, your parents wouldn't exist. You wouldn't exist. Your kids wouldn't exist either. If we didn't take this stuff seriously, we'd be out of the game for good, replaced by those that did. When you're done hardworking on yourself, that effort lasts forever. This person or the next, you will bring you to your next relationship. Being the best you is the strategy that makes all the tricks and tactics of conquest seem small. Replace trust with verification, since verification is cheap. Make people prove stuff. You want to take significance with stories and verify the significance check you've written with evidence that is randomly requested and generated. Do you know a person that can put out a video or be on television and doesn't get trash talked or insulted in the comments? Not likely. Everyone gets trash talked and insulted. And I do mean everyone, even Mr. Rogers. Therefore, even me, I get trash talked. Especially during this, when I was doing the ASMR stuff, I got a lot of hate. People were not excited about it. Thank you, Lumi. Thanks to everyone who's given me a little tip today. I appreciate you guys a lot. Super, super sweet. Love this community. Thanks again, Richard, for tweeting it out. And happy to be doing this. I love it. Your clothes are the saying, the clothes make the man, is pretty accurate at mid-range. Posture and whom you're with matter as well. Lonely. Be amazing and see how long you can stay lonely. On a long enough time scale, nothing escapes the odds. If you are a giant loser, make it a mission to see how worthy you can become without still getting a woman. And you'll find the world isn't stupid. And if you're attractive, people will be attracted then you should find the right words, packaging, analogies, similes to make it compelling. Downwards intonation is how people know you mean business. How you say things, often with a tone, is more important than what you say. Say it like you mean it. Your subconscious is listening to you when you speak as well. And if it hears you, speak something forcefully enough, often enough, your very identity itself will tend to merge with the speech. I like that one. Say it like you mean it. So if you're just tuning in and you don't know what's going on, I did this whole series. I took every quote that I really loved from SciVive and I reshared
Don't waste
them
time focusing on
in
the
many different ways,
useless
including trying
mysteries
ASMR. I
when you
tried a
have
lot of different things because I wanted to see what would do well.
useful
So
mysteries.
yeah, some of it's a little
so
cringe,
near
some of it's a
at
little
hand.
crazy, but I wanted to try. So there's like a good chunk that are like this whispery ASMR kind of vibe. It never works. Showing someone cool photos that have nothing to do with you doesn't work either. Sharing funny YouTube videos with people while you're in the club is not the way to be attractive. Leave the phone in your pocket and just be yourself. There's not much more ASMR.
Works like the memory of someone else, where you lend them your lawnmower and then you have to borrow your own
I'm at a drum and
lawnmower
bass
back
show.
from them.
Hear the drum and bass in the background.
That's what inflation is. The world owes you something because you have the money you worked hard for. As long as you don't claim the favor back,
I know.
It erodes over time until you are
It's
owed
funny that
nothing
that person came through
anymore.
talking about that
Hold for too long.
just around the time
You
that comment
can't afford to buy
or the quote about
anything
people
with
getting
the
hate,
money you
right? Everyone
save
gets hate, even Mr.
because
Rogers
of
gets hate.
inflation.
So most people think that this concept of a soulmate exists, that for some reason there's just one other person out there for you. And lucky you, they live near you, so you'll find them. They speak the same language you speak. They have similar beliefs. However, it turns out that there are actually a lot of people that you can have a good relationship with. My bells.
Hey, good morning from the HEX DeFi bus. Wanted to just let you know that there's going to be a tiny break in the SciVive quotes. Just like Richard is pivoting and switching things up right now, I'm learning from him and I'm going to do the same. ASMR quotes aren't hitting that hard. If you have any ideas, any advice, any suggestions
We'll
for
watch
how
this.
to make these quotes
This was pinned
punch a
to
little
my
harder,
profile for a
feel
long
free
time.
to DM me and let me know.
But this
In the
shows you,
meantime,
this is my
here is
passion, right?
quote
Like this is
206,
me.
quote that brought me to tears.
This is another theme that Richard talks about over and over again in SciVive. What do we need? What do we need? We need more human beings doing more intelligent things that benefit other people. If I just had one thing to say, there it is. If I had to give you guys one sentence to show you that this is not weird, that Richard is and has been the same person all along, and this is all calculated and 100% a part of his plan, this is what Richard thinks we need. We need more human beings doing more intelligent things that benefit other people. there's that beautiful quote that he has said, and I've seen pop up over and over again. His cup is already full. His cup is overflowing. He wants to see other people's cups overflow. That's it. I mean, it's freaking simple as that, y'all. Like, this man has a heart of gold and simply wants to see good people succeed. He wants to see people that are going to benefit this world and benefit one another. He wants to see those people succeed. And you know what? A lot of people that follow him, we're those people. And that, again, is another beautiful thing. The fact that when Richard has been asked what his greatest accomplishment is, it's not getting all the girls. It's not Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. It's not HEX. It's not PulseChain. Do you know what he has said? It's the community. It's this community that has been, oh, I got teary-eyed, sorry. Wow, that was unexpected. It's the community, you guys. Like, that's his number one greatest accomplishment, is us. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm still at this point fluctuating around break even, right, with what I've invested in HEX. I haven't seen mad gains. I got in 2021.
Still true.
You know, I'm not an OG. I think some people think that because of all the work that I do with SciVive and how much I perpetuate who Richard is, right? But I'm not. I would be happy if I'd never made a penny. If all of this went to zero and I never made a dime, I'd still be the happiest person that I am, because it's changed my life. The words in his book have literally changed the course of my life. And not just that, right? Like, slowly over time, this book really changed me at my core and who I am as a person and what I do. And along with that, this community has changed my life, right? That's why I'm so emotional right now, because there is nothing greater than having a group of people who want to see you succeed, who come alongside you and build you up. You guys, this project, my bus project, would not be possible if not for this community. The fact that I have had so many community members reach out to me to say, what do you need? Hey, when you come here, you can park your bus here. Hey, if you need help with electrical, if you need help with plumbing, if you need help with whatever.
Shout out, y'all.
People in this
I
community
made it safely across the country thanks to
Hexicans. They want to see each
Hexicans.
other succeed. And that is because the person who created this community, Richard Hart, that is the core of who he is. He wants to see us succeed. He wants to see us grow. He wants to see us live forever. You know, he wants to see us all be able to experience life in this amazing way. Okay, hold on.
This was cool. This
The
is some
law of
footage that DOS Bomb
is
sent to
actually
me. It's drone
perverse.
footage that he recorded.
Every moment
So I tried
you
using drone
spend
footage for a few quotes.
focusing merely on what you want, instead of focusing on doing the actions that get you what you want,
I think I need ice cream
is a
in it.
waste of time. Ideas themselves are but the inhabitants of life. For if no living thing carries the idea, does it truly exist?
Thank you, 43 OG. Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
If you throw a banana in your
I think
yard
that was the only
and
quote
watch it
without
over time,
audio,
you'll
like
see
an
that one day
audio
it's not there anymore.
wording.
The process of dissolving
I forgot what I
and
used
ceasing to be
to do that one.
is
but
what only life can
as
prevent.
you can see, y'all, I tried
Should
so
you
many
deserve
different
an amazing
techniques
relationship? Yes.
to do these quotes.
Be an amazing partner. Earn the right to demand an amazing relationship, whether in business or in love. The playing of games and the optimizing of outcomes for people who aren't you, but you have somehow decided they're a part of you, the teams you choose,
the friends you choose, the family that you probably didn't get to choose, but continue to allow to be a part of your life. Don't mistake their progress and their excellence for your own. Don't starve yourself from progress and excellence, because you've already fulfilled that desire and become full on the food of other people's progress. All those things that you do, trying to drug yourself and do Uberman method sleep experiments, when they mess up, you have downtime. Find the machines, people, and systems that can scale in ways you can't.
I appreciate
and
that.
do things that you can't. If you don't need a person to do a job, free them. Let them do something useful with their life, instead of trapping them and forcing someone else to pay the price for them pretending to work.
It's the greatest mystery of
What is
all.
important is that you have
I'm sure
a
you could
list
really find
of
out
what you need to
if
do,
you dug.
the time
But what's
those
it called?
things
OPSEC,
occur,
bro.
and the alarms necessary. It doesn't matter whether it's a wristwatch or a pocket watch. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just another tool. What is important is that you're using your time the way you want
you.
to use it. It's not easy.
These are all
to
filmed
find
in
the right
Arizona.
way
I think
to
I was at a
help people
botanical
who
garden.
have picked the wrong thing to do.
I
They
love
just
seeing
need to discover it on their own.
progression
Maybe
of
there's a
my
line of
hair.
questions that can be asked in the style of
Look at it's grown a
Socrates,
lot in a year and a half.
where you can interrogate what's learned
Look at that now.
together. There's power in admitting you're wrong. And it's so rare these days that it's very notable. Displaying weakness is rare unless you're baiting. Influence is only as
Part of
good
it.
as the objectives of its use.
Not even close.
Don't use a word twice in the same sentence or in your
Thanks
proximity.
for joining.
Unless
Please
there's a
subscribe.
really compelling reason to do
Richard
so.
is.
Great reading makes for great writing.
Yeah, obviously.
Read the greats to write like the greats. Don't use complicated language. Don't make jokes too good.
This is where you
at
can
your
find the
expense.
audiobooks, in case you did not
If you're
know.
funny and creative,
Oh.
and you make too much fun of yourself, the dum-dums around you will just chant
I'm
your
gonna,
once
if I lower
original
the
joke
volume here,
over and over till you wish you didn't.
does that lower the volume for all y'all?
Internet
Like,
trolls,
am I louder now
bot
over
bandits,
the quotes?
verbal bullies, and significance-driven people who are happy to create pain. Usually, those who wish to harm others.
Ryan, I think that is Tucson. Okay, cool. So I wanted to, we can kind of watch this in the background while it's going on. I wanted to bring up a quote, or not a quote, a comment I saw.
It's like mental extortion. If they don't get treated
Here.
the way they want,
Lumi brought this up. So I wanted to just let you know, if you didn't know this, and I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but
complexity of fiction. Instead, find the myth.
I actually might not have got to this part when I was talking about it. So when I first did the audio version of SciVive, I read it as it was. I read it pretty much word for word, even though it pained me, because I used to do editing. I used to do writing and editing in high school and college and afterwards a little bit. So it was really rough, right? Like Lumi says, you know, it was tough to get through some sections because it's unedited. The pinned version in t.me/SciVive is still rather unedited. Now, when I did the first reading, I read pretty much what you see pinned in t.me/SciVive. Between the first reading and the second reading, I edited the entire book. So I did content and copy editing. I made sure sentences were finished. I made sure ideas were finished. I made sure that things were attributed where they needed to be. There were great sections and chunks of SciVive that were not huge chunks or anything, but there were parts that were not Richard's words that and it wasn't like he was trying to take the words or, you know, plagiarize or anything. It was just that it had never been properly attributed or, you know, it was noted as such, but that never, the footnotes weren't there. So I went through and made sure that, you know, that he wasn't going to get any plagiarism strikes, because some of the content was, he was just referencing it, right? He wanted to use these pieces of maybe a Reddit stream or a Reddit thread or a forum post or something like that. So I was able to connect the dots back and make sure that anything that was in there that wasn't his original wording was properly noted that way. I made sure that sections that needed to be in different chapters were moved. I made sure that the content flowed better. I had a lot of help. After I went through it myself and did the, you know, the copy editing, and a bit of the content editing, I had a good team of maybe 10 to 20 people. A lot of people dropped out along the way because it's a lot. It was huge. It was a huge undertaking, and no one wanted to do that for free.
If you can help the masses,
So I was just like, hey, this has to be done. And I just knew that it had to. And whoever had it before, you know, like just couldn't put that time and energy and effort into it. And I was in a place where I could. So I did. So I took all of that content, had a good team of people helping me go through things, make sure things were worded well. And then at the end of all of that, and this is over the last 2 years, all of this went on. That's why I give a huge shout out to RH Max, because at the end of that, having myself and then a good team of people volunteer to do things, Max took what I had done and gave it to a legit paid for copy editor. And that's basically where we're at right now. We got the work back from that editor. It is edited. In fact, I need to go through it. Max and I, you know, saw that, and I'm all bright and shiny right now. Woo. We got it back. And Max, I need to know. I don't know if you're watching or not, but I'll hit you up later. But you know, we need to sit down and go through. I need to personally sit down and go through and look at the changes that editor made, just to make sure, because I didn't want to take Richard's voice away. I didn't want it to become something that wasn't him or wasn't real. Now, did I take out all the cussing? Did I change words? Absolutely, I did. Did I get Richard's approval for that? There was very few things that he was able to comment back to me on while I did the book. So I took a lot of liberties in editing SciVive. I do remember, and I don't have any of the, there's no proof of it now, you know, so like if anyone wants to argue with me, we're gonna have to ask Richard about it. But I do recall that I did say, hey, do we want to make this more family friendly? Like, is it okay for me to change the cussing and remove that and make it, you know, so that it's better for everyone to read? And he said that was fine. So it is edited in that it's not word for word what Richard has written. Right, the words are changed so that, you know, it's a family-friendly book now, in a way, right? Of course, not all the topics are family-friendly. In fact, there's people that are doing. There's someone in the community that was doing like a teenage version of it, and I apologize. Like, a lot of people, while I was doing this project, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to do this with SciVive. I want to do that with SciVive, and you know, like, what do you think about this? And you know, can you help me with this?" And I just haven't had the time still. I mean, taking a year and a half to do these quotes, right? Like, that was a lot of time and energy on my part to do that. And I love it. I'm so glad that I did, right? And that led to other projects and where I'm at now, of course. But it was a lot to undertake, and it was a lot to undertake without having Richard by my side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm working on someone's book, and you know, and I'm not able to really communicate on the daily or however often with this author. Weekly, monthly, you know, like really just not able to communicate. So it just kind of became what it is, and it is now. Oh, hey, these real quick, I'm going to pause real quick because I see these. This is Richard's in the background. That's Richard's junior high.
These were filmed in Florida where Richard grew up, and I found out where he went to elementary and junior high and high school, and I walked around these areas and I recorded the quotes walking around his old campuses. But so anyway, so where we're at with SciVive right now is that the book is in Richard's hands. Richard has a copy. I have a copy. Max has a copy of this very finely tuned, edited version of SciVive. And it's just kind of up to really Richard, when he has the time and energy to go through it and approve it and say, yes, this works. Like, this is what I want to be published and to have people be able to buy copies of. The other place we're at is that, and of course, he's got bigger fish to fry right now. There's a lot going on for him. So this is not the top of his list, but the audio version. So another reason I did the second audio version is that I wanted to be sure that the audio book that we had would be available on Audible, that people could actually purchase it and listen to it and have it available in an MP3 format, and that it was the more edited version. So here's the thing, right? Like, the second go around is edited, but it's not the copy that Richard has in his hands or that I have right now, right? The second Audible version that's on my page is edited by myself and some other hexagons that help me out with it. So it is more edited. It is not going to be the version that's going to be in print. So whether or not I do a third recording, we'll see. I don't know. Unless I think I got paid really well to do it, I don't know that I would, because that is a lot of work. I mean, however many hours the book is, it was double the amount of time to record it, if not close to triple, because there's outtakes, there's, messing words up. I had, especially the first time I read SciVive, I learned so much, but I had to stop and learn how to say people's names. I had to understand concept, because I didn't want to just like read it and not understand what I was reading or what I was sharing, right? So I had to look things up and figure out how words were said, and what was it I was actually trying to convey to people, because he's so damn smart. There was shit I'd never heard before. I'd never learned before. So I highly recommend, please listen to it. Like, listen to SciVive. Like, it's amazing. Richard has so much knowledge, and I mean, it's 10 chapters, and each chapter is a different subject. His brain is so big. He has so big brain. So that's, I just had to say that, because it's exciting. It's exciting to know that, I had no idea what I was doing when I started this. I really didn't know much about who Richard was, or how well received this was going to be, or how many people were going to want to listen to it instead of read it. I had people reach out to me who said that they have dyslexia and they can't read. So they thanked me for doing the audio version, or they listen to it while they're falling asleep, or they listen to it while they're driving, and they wouldn't have been able to hear the book and hear his words otherwise. So I'm grateful that that's where I ended up in this community. That's why I don't, someone said earlier, like, oh, your channel should have 100,000 subscribers and stuff like that. And it's like, yes, that's sweet. I'd love that idea. That would be fantastic. But I know that I'm a very niche content creator, right? Like, I don't talk about the price of HEX. I don't talk about the projects on PulseChain, right? Like, that energy is going into what I'm doing with Discourse Syndicate and RG3. That's where, all of that is going to flow for me. But in terms of my personal content, it's really just about continuing to spread Richard's words, continuing to talk about SciVive. I'll probably still do readings. I probably won't do quotes anymore. I might do Fix the Money, Fix the World quotes. It's a much shorter book, a much easier project. Maybe I'll do a 3-day or 30-day, quotes from that. But really, I just, in my own content, want to just be myself and talk about positivity and, put forward the fact that my life has changed significantly thanks to Richard and thanks to this book. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm also going to, step up my game and start doing a lot more work for RG3 and Discourse Syndicate, and, helping get the word with the PulseChain tour, y'all. PulseChainTour.com. If you haven't seen it yet, please go there. Did a whole tour last year. We're doing a whole new tour this next year. So we're starting off in California, going to Houston, going to Vegas. We're probably going to hit up the Twin Cities. We're going to London. We're going to Zurich. We're going to Venice. We're going to Australia probably. Lots going on, and it's not all the details are there yet. So real quick, this image right here, the friend, my bestie whose house I'm at right now, this was her wedding. I was in her wedding dressed like that. Super cute. Anyways, that was my rant. Let's keep listening to the quotes. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the super chats. I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, I think we got another. This is a long stream. I couldn't think of like how long the stream was going to be, but we're at 2:52. We got another 100 quotes to go. I think they're going to go a little quicker because I started doing like shorter quotes after this point. I'm starting to really get the hang of it, right? And at this point, I'm pretty sure it's just me. Like I started to just do the quotes all on my own. So
gives you a chance to stick something better.
Let's go back to the chat here. Skylar Jade. Wait a minute. That's did you find that on the internet somewhere? Because I was doing what's it called?
The less you have to work with to create an idea.
I can't think of it right now. The NFT Letheus. I was working with the Letheus team, and that was the fictitious name that I chose to work with Letheus. So Hexagon, you have hit both the S and the J on different names. So it's a combination of something you have said.
Similarly,
I'm gonna turn the quotes back up.
More lasting and impactful creation, just like a large sculpture, it will take you longer to create. If the us versus them mentality is sometimes useful, then referring to how people without a cause are happy to die might be one way to lightly tease someone into action.
No, it's not available
Once
yet.
you
We
know
want Richard
how
to approve
few
it first.
hours you really possess to influence
unless
other
I get an
people,
okay from
and
him,
once you know how little
which I don't think
impact
I would,
you have
'cause
on
this
other
is gonna be the
people,
paid
you
version
better
of it,
only
right?
bring
Like,
your
people-
A game,
we're gonna print
and
this book
you
and
better only
buy
talk
copies of it.
about what's important to you. Do you think going out, staying out late, and drinking alcohol while doing silly stuff and risking bar fights and all that helps to develop your product? No. As a matter of fact, anyone who knows that your life is composed of primarily those things will look down upon you as someone that is less valuable, more risky, and a waste of time. Many of the good sets have been lost to over drinking. If you've got it in the bag, slow down with the drinks. Just like getting a yes to a sale, shut the heck up. No more talking. You can't get any more sold, but you can mess it up quite fast.
Hey, Alan. Stoked to be on the Hexpo conference. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm terrible. I'm sorry, Maddie. But I'll be speaking at his conference. I think it's January 6th through the 9th. I think I speak on the 8th. That feels right. Yeah, I'm on the 8th. But thanks, Maddie. Thanks for putting that together. It's a lot of work.
That it will fill with different bad stuff. It's much better to just push the smart, good stuff up front. This is perhaps why it's not that useful to go and disprove all the wrong things one by one. Only if you have time should you then worry about reaching perfection. Urgent isn't always important. What can you do that has lasting value? What can you do to reward and punish yourself?
And that's the thing too, like if you want to make a kid's version of SciVive or you want to make a teenager's version of SciVive, just go for it. I mean, the worst that can happen is Richard can be like, no, don't publish it. But I don't know. Like, I think he'd be stoked about it. Honestly, like, look what I did. I just kind of started doing it. It's like better to ask forgiveness than permission, right?
Pretending that you're arguing against yourself. You might be able
Thank
to
you.
trigger the reward that comes from
Thank you,
thinking
Goldkey. I
you're
appreciate
gaining
you.
social
Happy New Year.
value, but really, you're just gaining value against yourself. SciVive hopes that you're advanced enough to know.
So,
that
Lumi,
what
if you're
should
listening,
be
oh, for the
most
written version,
important
I
to
see you now.
and someone near you is
I
the
don't know.
stuff that might
The
actually
only version I know
happen
that
in
exists
the
is
real
what's
world
pinned in
for you
SciVive. That's the
or
only
that
version.
person. If you're
So,
talking about stuff that's just
Fix the Money,
mentally
Fix the World, I
beneficial
think,
to you, you're
is
wasting
an
their
edited
time
version.
and
I think I
wasting
edited that one
because
and
it's not
posted it.
going to turn into
But yeah, I don't think there's an edited version of SciVive out yet. I don't think he,
suddenly makes a funny sound.
I don't know.
You
I'll have to
know
ask
that for people who don't love
and
their
hope I get an
hobby,
answer.
it can make all types of funny sounds, and they just don't notice or care because they didn't develop that caring by trying to develop it, whether consciously or by accident.
The people who care.
Me too. If you've ever seen the Never-Ending Story, you know how there's like the book in the beginning where there's like the two Ouroboros snakes that are like all intertwined in this big simple seal thing. I want a book like that. Like I want it to be like all like a big tome that's like jewel encrusted with like a gold symbol on it.
Go ahead and do it.
That's the version I want, Richard. Can you make one copy like that for me? Maybe two. Obviously, you get one too.
Another strategy you'll see people use to break through the barriers when trying to get hard work done is they'll try to minimize all the distractions. Sure, you could do that, but you are falling for the meta of controlling what isn't the work. If you saved the time you would have spent doing that and just forced the discipline of doing the work, then you would win twofold. Once from actually doing the work,
right? I've got
and once again from not wasting time minimizing distractions. There's no better way to start your day than by growing your strength and willpower. The feeling of accomplishment makes all the tasks of the day so much easier. Knowledge is only as useful as its application. The first step to getting things done is actually wanting things.
Max, you're so
Upgrade your
sweet.
shoulds to musts. The more you upgrade from shoulds to musts, the more you'll
Thank you.
actually schedule and then do and then get. If you want something urgently enough, you'll find a way. You hear these
Thanks, Lumi. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all the cool combo.
and
Appreciate
no one
you.
even called 911 because they felt that someone else was going to do it.
I did not know this.
The way to overcome that is to look at a single person, point directly at them and say, you call 911 now. You.
I look tired in some of these.
Use alarms. Now you don't have to be worried about missing a thing. Let your phone worry for you. Use calendars with alarms. Now you don't have to miss people's birthdays or forget to get your teeth cleaned. Don't watch. Do. Life isn't a spectator sport. Get in the game. You can't call failing to do the important thing. When you want things badly enough that you must have them, then you might schedule them. If you schedule things, you might do them. If you do them, you might get what you thought you would get, and thus get what you wanted. The first step to scheduling is the desire, the why, and the urgency. Why must you have it now? If you solve the why, everything will pretty much work on autopilot. It's just like habits. You only have to work to build a habit for about 3 weeks before it sticks. Then it's autopilot. You just do it without thinking. Wait, not a minute. For minutes are what life is made of. Time is.
I really love the way Richard says things too.
All have only 24 hours.
Like it's just so profound sounding.
To outcompete everyone else. While they're watching the game on television, you can be catching the winning pass and making love to the homecoming king or queen. Most people waste tons of time every day. Since you're reading this book, you might not be most people if you compare yourself to the average American. Replace time wasting with time honoring. Take everything you do that, upon analysis, doesn't actually lead to any tangible benefits to your life, and just replace them and do it for 3 weeks so it sticks. If you cut out browsing Facebook, or really idly browsing anything you choose, what could you use that time for? Learning a new language, finding love, creating something beautiful? The sky isn't the limit. You can build a weather balloon and send a miniature camera into space, past our sky. Use GPS to find it when it comes back down, and view the photos of Earth from the stratosphere. Are you really good at the wrong things? That's worse, not better. That makes you like the wrong things more than you should. If you have a lot of achievement badges in a video game, you could say that's a counter achievement anywhere outside that game. Find an edge somewhere. Working on a weekend night can be the difference between those who win and those who work for those who win. Jealousy exists to motivate you to act in the right directions. If you don't have juicy things you want at first glance, then
Notice what you're jealous of and try getting those things. If you are still having trouble finding something juicy to replace your time sinks with, then just pick something other people enjoy and try it for a few weeks to see if you'd learn to enjoy it too. Anything is better than the same dead end you're already an expert at. The pain of working goes away when you start the work. Getting to the gym is hard. Being at the gym is easy. You can't live at the gym forever or at work forever, which is great. You don't need to, and you shouldn't, but you should develop a healthy cycle. Performing hard tasks improves willpower. Just like lifting heavy weights improves muscles. Willpower gets stronger with training, just like your muscles. Put your food in the fridge oldest to the front, newest to the rear, so that when you use them
This
in
one
that
was fun.
order, it makes some sense. When you're done washing your clothes, put your clean clothes in the very back so that you use the ones that haven't been used yet. Otherwise, you short cycle and the small group that's in the front gets used and then washed and will keep being cycled quicker. They'll fade or get too small and you won't be able to use them anymore. It's better to cycle everything evenly. If you want greatness, you have to experiment. Just respect complexity while you do. The more complicated your idea, the more likely it will not only never happen, but mess you up the whole way. Being on the cutting edge makes you bleed. First adopters are how you discover what needs to be fixed.
¿Qué pasó?
If you want greatness, you have to do things worth writing about, or write about things worth doing. When you feel like you must stop, you must program your brain to think, great, that's the trigger for me to continue, like an infinite loop. It will stop on its own eventually. No reason to help it fail early by not using it. Remember the phrase, if I can't, I must.
Why? Why is this doing this?
See how valuable your time is. Don't be a degenerate gambler with your time. So many of us look down on those with crippling addictions. A man who just can't stop losing money gambling, taking the same bad deals over and over again. Well, don't feel too superior. As that man gambles with money, it's likely you do the same with your time. Doing the same things over and over again that never pay off, yet you just can't stop doing them. It's easy to see that a gambling man's bank account is empty. It's not as easy to see how you've wasted away so much of your precious time. Purpose. You get what you do. People who farm for food would say you reap what you sow, meaning that the seeds you plant grow into the plants they're supposed to. Do what you're supposed to. There's all kinds of ways that you can enhance the likelihood that you will actually do what you're supposed to do.
I don't know why they're just not auto-playing anymore.
Hasn't changed in 20 years, then you're not making progress. What's more likely, that your model is perfect or you stop caring? Whatever you did to transition from being mediocre to being good, you should probably keep doing that. When you are feeling guilty that you haven't had the type of process and production that you think is possible in your life, know that it definitely is possible. However, unless you're some lucky mutant, you are going to need to work hard and use your brain the right way and schedule your time well. If you starve the bad behaviors, you forget to do them because you're too busy doing the new ones that you've done long enough to stick. Thus, starve the bad behaviors for 3 weeks and see them become weak. Engage the new behaviors for 3 weeks and see them become stronger. Only action matters. Dreaming is only useful to action as long as you need it to create the plan. Once you have the plan, stop dreaming and start doing. Your goals and dreams are really only as useful as they point to the correct actions that you take. Your knowledge of correct actions are only as useful as you can actually act on them. If you feed a positive habit long enough, you don't need discipline to do it any longer.
it actually becomes harder to do the other habit that you used to do. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I probably could fix this and set up the autoplay, but it's been over 2 hours. And I mean, like, I don't know what I was thinking, like, in terms of timing and stuff and like how long this was going to take. But let me check a thing real quick. We might have to wrap this up. Let me check on something. Hold on. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. My fingers are like cramping up because it's so cold out here. So it's hard to work. Dinner. I'm going to a dinner, so I want to make sure that I can get to this dinner, and I need to like change and do all these things in time. So I'm gonna call it, but let me show y'all, since this is the finale, I'm gonna bring up the last 2 quotes that have not been shown yet. Let me figure out the best way to do this. What is the best way to do that now? Let me think here. Oh, probably just in Veed. Let's just do that. We're going to go to Veed. And these 2 I'm going to upload in the next couple hours. So here is quote 368. Hold on. I will share this in a moment. Oh, gosh. Okay. All right. So let's share this tab instead. Here we go. All right. So world premiere of the last 2 SciVive quotes. Let's go.
The world needs more SciVivers. The more SciVivers there are, the happier and healthier we shall all be.
Huh? I like that one a lot. I really do. And I liked the way we're gonna play it again.
The world needs more SciVivers.
Editing.
The more SciVivers there are, the happier and healthier we shall all be.
You know, you can like see the difference between the first one that I did and these last 2, right? Like I learned a lot. So it's been really awesome doing what I've been doing here. Let me bring up the second one. 369. Here we go. So this is the last SciVive quote, and I'll be posting this on my account soon. But here we go. Oops.
SciVive is a great, SciVive is a great name. SciVive.
All right. So I'm going to play this quote and then I'm going to end the stream. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Richard, for tweeting. Thanks so much for being the inspiration for all this. Thank you for your words. Thank you for being the greatest man in the world. I mean, I think that Richard is going to do a lot for a lot of people, like he already has, and he's just going to kind of continue doing that, and that's just going to continue to cause this ripple effect that goes out into the world and creates more greatness, more goodness, more wealth, more prosperity for more people. I'm overjoyed to be a part of this community and to be able to use my gifts and talents and use whatever it is that I got, you know, to further this message into the world and to keep things positive and to sing my own song, right? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's the last of 369 SciVive quotes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And check out the audiobook. It's on a playlist here. All right, here we go. Let me turn this. Can I turn it up more?
SciVive is a great name for a movement. It's an action, and all movements require such. The title SciVive is interesting because it invokes the thoughts of life and mortality. Then when you make it SciVival, the viable part clues you into something that's coming to kill you. Whether it's someone who doesn't like you, a hereditary disease, or the simple passage of time.
There it is, everyone. So happy new year. Happy 2024. I think these next couple years are going to be really life changing for a lot of people. If the last 2 years, I mean, my life has changed for the better more than I ever could have imagined. So I really am just, I'm excited, you guys. I think that we've got a lot to look forward to. There are a lot of great people doing a lot of great things in this space, and we're way ahead of the curve. We're so early in so many ways. So again, thank you so much. My heart is filled with gratitude. I am just so uplifted, and I love you guys so much. So have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you in 2024.